Good day, everybody. Today we're going to do lesson plan 12, grade 7, term 2. The topic is solve money fraction problems. It links to DBE worksheet 38. Then you can see the CAPS link here and then the dictionary for today. So read through these to get a better understanding to help your child or your learners in the classroom. I want you to pause and then have a look at this. Then we're going to do the 10 questions on mental mathematics. So you're going to pause here. The learner is going to do the 10 questions. You're going to come back and we're going to reveal the answers. So here are the answers then, so you can mark it. So then we're going to start with the introduction, solve money fraction problems. So we're going to introduce this lesson by asking learners what money and fractions have in common. So if we're going to say 50 cent is 1/2 of 1 rand, 25 rand is a quarter of 100 rand. Why will we use this? So I want you to pause, ask them the question, and then ask them to give you some examples. Okay, welcome back. So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at 1/2 of 1 rand. So how do we write it? Half of 1 rand equals 2/2. And remember the half then means multiply and then 1 rand over 1. So because 1 rand divided by 1 still gives us 1 rand, but we want to change this into a fraction. So now what we can do is we can multiply the top and the bottom numbers. So here we have then 1 times 1 rand is 1 rand. 2 times 1 is 2. If we take 1 rand and we divide it by 2, we get 50 cents. Remember the cent symbol at the end. So let's go and look at the second example. So 1/2 of 100. So we got 1/2 of 100 equals to 1/2. We want to change the 100 into a fraction. So we're going to say 100 divided by 1. And then we're going to multiply the top numbers and then the bottom numbers. So we got 100 divided by 2, and that gives us 50 rand. Let's look at this example. I'm not going to explain it. I just want to ask, why is the answer 12 rand 50? So let's look at the next example. So we got 1/2 of 38 rand and 40 cents. So we got 1/2 multiply. Then we want to change this into a fraction. So we're going to say 38 rand and 40 cents divided by 1. That will give us a fraction. We're going to multiply the top numbers and the bottom numbers. So we got 38 rand and 40 cents divided by 2. And that gives us 19 rand and 20 cents. So this one, again, I'm not going to go through it. I just want to know why is the answer 14 rand 41. I want you to pause then and do these activities. I want us quickly to read through this. When we solve problems, we need to analyze all the words used in the problem. So when we look at solving money fraction problems, we're going to look at words such as fraction, half of, quarter of, eighth of. Then we're going to look at money words that includes rands and cents. So what we want to do is we want to identify those in a problem. And then what we're going to do is when we're going to look at multiplication. So in this lesson, we focus on multiplication. So the first word that we learned is of, but it can be times, multiply, product, lots of, groups of, times tables. So we need to know those words in order to solve problems. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take that knowledge and we're going to then solve problems. So the first one is you each got 180 Rand pocket money. If each of you spent the following fraction of your money, how much will you have left? So you got 180 Rand and you spend 1/5 of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 1/5 of 180. We're going to do the whole calculation, and then we know what we spend, and we need to subtract it from 180 Rand. So I want you to go through the example. So it's time to pause and do it. So now I want you to do all of these A to H using the same example. Then what you're going to do is you're going to solve number 2. First, pause here and work carefully through the example. And then you're going to answer A to J. We're going to do the problem solving. And then what we have is we have some extra examples coming from old test or exam papers. And then lastly, we're going to do the consolidation. If you got yeses on all of them, you carry on with the next lesson. If you got no's, you need to revisit or revise certain concepts. Or contact us at SA Teacher.